You look up when you hear them. You can't help but wonder where and why it flies. Because deep down, near your heart, either in whole or in part, you are an aviator.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Let's get it, boys.
Are you ready?
1-1 down the center with the 1-1, you're part 1-1, get back in, 1-1 with the 1-1, down to you, you can see you're part 1-7, now 8, give it, you're part 1, medium, with the 1, medium, 8, back down to the center, stop it!
Join on the corner where the big boys play.
450, now 75, we get 75, come back in, 75, we get 75,
My name is Kristen Snow Edwards. I'm the oldest daughter of Leland Snow, who was the founder of Air Tractor. And I grew up around airplanes and my dad, and I knew really all my life that Air Tractor was special.
On the plains of northwest Texas, in the small town of Olney, with a population of roughly 3,200 people, sits one of the most advanced aircraft manufacturing companies in the world, Air Tractor. Inside these factory walls, grandfathers, grandmothers, fathers and mothers, and sons and daughters work side by side to produce aircraft that have a higher purpose, aircraft that feed the world and fight the fires that plague it. The hand-built pride of workmanship is evident from the taxiway as one arrives. With artisan skill often passed down from one generation to the next, they proudly craft each component of each aircraft that rolls off the assembly line. On these floors, the best of the old ways are married with state-of-the-art technology, precision, and the dedication to quality that transcend time. The spirit of innovation is alive here inside these plant walls. It is apparent that each staff member wants to leave the factory just a little better than they found it in the morning, to leave the Air Tractor legacy a little stronger at the end of each day. There are no Ferraris in the parking lot, no single owner collecting a bonus as each aircraft rolls off the line. Air Tractor, founded by Leland Snow in 1979, but has been employee-owned since 2008. Dependent upon each other, each member of the team is counting on one another, not only for their current livelihood, but also their retirement. The pride of employee ownership, or what we'll call employership, runs deep. There seems to be a sense of duty, not only to the county, but to the city, to the pride of employership, if you will. What is that like for you as the president of the company?
We look at that based some on history and what we know about our history and how Leland, our founder, first got to Olney, and the support that the city of Olney gave him to get started. I know he always felt loyal, and he passed those traits on to us to give back to your community, to give back to your county, and help people. If we can help people, we'll all be better for it.
Y'all working here?
I'm building the emergency exit part that goes on the door.
All me.
Almost everyone knows someone who has been affected by a wildfire. Since 2000, wildfire activity has doubled. Supertankers are effective, but they are also expensive. The truth is that there simply aren't enough resources to deploy them everywhere they're needed. Thankfully, Leland Snow, an air tractor, developed a solution. The single-engine air tanker, the air tractor, Fireboss.
My dad knew that the industry needed new aircraft, new production, specifically designed for firefighting. And so he started working on the 802 as a firefighting airplane around 1989. There wasn't a lot of interest in the beginning. Everyone wanted the bigger tankers and the multi-engine tankers, but the California Department of Forestry did express interest, and they wanted to do an evaluation of the prototype, and so that really pushed my dad to work really hard. He got the prototype finished and sent it out to California for their fire season of '91. And it seemed like the pilots were already biased against the airplane because it was single engine and single pilot. And one of them even was quoted saying, well, I think this is a step backwards. With that negative bias and the inherent flaws in a raw prototype, they wrote up a really bad evaluation and a negative report. He was really disappointed. We brought the prototype back, he got it certificated, and worked on all the improvements that he had planned for it as far as the handling qualities, and started production in, I think, 1993. Now, almost 30 years later, now it's one of the top air tankers around the world.
So my understanding is that between 3 or 4 802s on floats can deliver the same amount of water on target as a C-130 or a Chinook?
That's about right. When you can make 10 to 15 loads an hour, literally on and off the water every 3 to 4 minutes, 3 airplanes can move a lot of water in an hour.
Jim, it seems like these aircraft really fight a lot of fires.
Well, we do, and we're fortunate to be in a position with that. But a lot of fires, we hear about the big fires. They make the news media. The ones we're really proud of is our operators that put out the fires that you never hear about.
It's not unusual to do 30 or 40 scoops per fuel cycle. So you're looking at easily doing 10 to 15 water takeoffs and landings per hour. The way the Fireboss especially is most effective is in a group of airplanes. So a swarm of Firebosses, 4 or 5 or even 6 Firebosses on one fire. And when that fire is located close to the scoopable water source, it's a continuous flow of water. 7 Firebosses will absolutely whip a 747 in gallons per hour delivered. It has taken a while for that airplane to be recognized as the really effective tool that it is. But the past 5 or 6 years have been an incredible growth in the Fireboss industry. It's like everybody's starting to pay attention now.
Straight and Level is presented by Assent Aeronautics, the world's largest live private aircraft auction house. Global FBO partner Jet Aviation, Aero Brigham, approved technical representative and partner of Assent Aeronautics. AvBuyer, the global platform for buying and selling business and private aircraft.
Welcome back to Straight and Level. To learn a little more about the aircraft produced in Olney, Texas, David Brigham caught up with Brent Colvin, test pilot for Air Tractor.
All right, we're here with Brent Colvin. Brent, thanks so much for talking to us about the aircraft, and good luck on your test flight.
Thank you very much.
Now, how long have you been flying these aircraft?
I've been flying these aircraft for 39 years.
Wow.
I've been flying as a pilot for 46. I've been flying ag for 39.
So how does this aircraft compare to flying, say, the 802 or the 502?
Very similar. They're both real similar airplanes. Got a tremendous gear on it. The 802 is, 16,000 pounds gross. They can take off or land at 16,000 pounds.
That's amazing. Most aircraft
amazing.
can't land at gross weight.
That's amazing. No, most of them can't. You got to burn off some fuel or weight or something.
Yeah.
Very light on the controls for such a large aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
These are used extensively all over the country, especially in the Rice Belt, Arkansas, Louisiana, East Texas. 802s and 602s both. I think there's 48 countries we're in.
Wow.
That's amazing.
We're getting ready to tour the Air Tractor factory. I've got to catch up with my brother. He's already in there. I can't wait to show you this work in progress.
This hopper holds 800 gallons or 6,800 pounds of water. It holds your water, your fire retardant, or your spray chemicals. It's got windows to look through. If you look at these little brackets right here, this is where your instrument panel mounts inside the aircraft. If you think about it in a Fireboss application, we're going to take our Fireboss, skim along in the water at 75 knots, fill this tank, which is above my head, holds 800 gallons in 15 seconds. Then we're going to go to the fire and do a dump and get rid of it in about 2 to 3 seconds.
When you walk up to a 602 or an 802, the only real distinguishing factor visually is the 802 has these small auxiliary vertical fins under their horizontal stabilizers. The 602 doesn't. Other than that, from a distance, they look exactly the same. Yeah, it looks like we're coming up to where they're painting the wings. They're laying out the stripes over here on these things.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of their Garment paint booths. That's the paint booth we want to put in our new hangar.
We need one bigger, though. There's tail surfaces.
Yep, 802 tail.
What do we put the fins on the elevators for?
The 802, it's got so much more power and weight. It had to have the extra fins to the horizontal because it wanted to wag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, check this out.
Now we're getting into sheet metal fabrication area. They're making leading edges and cowlings and stuff.
So the raw materials?
Some of the areas where we're talking about where they take the blank materials like this sheet aluminum and some of these extrusion and some of the press brakes and forming machines that they actually take the raw material and they make all these parts out of. They're going to make up a 502 or 602 or 802 aircraft.
Oh, there's some of your steel frames, right?
Yeah,
Nice welds, huh?
Yeah, there's the racks. They start out with the raw steel over there in big links, the chrome moly steel. And these guys over here are cutting everything to specific dimensions and different jigs. And they come over here and it's mass produce all sorts of different airframe parts.
Pre-made welds, little cluster weld. Very nicely done. That's where all your strength and rigidity in the frame comes from. Nice little welds like that. Nice work.
Yeah, so check out the jigs over here. They start with all the small parts and they've got these jigs set up and these guys come over here and start putting stuff together.
They're doing a fit for pipe on this jig right here. This jig assembly holds metal in shape so when they weld it, it doesn't distort, keeps them exactly perfect. So what these guys are doing right now is they're marking and they're doing a custom grind on each weld so they get the exact gap, so they get a perfect weld, no porosities, no weak spots. So if you're spraying or you're pulling G's in the aircraft, you're pulling power, you're hanging your life on this man's work. This guy, this is artistry in motion right here.
I want to see where the tubing benders are at.
Oh yeah.
I wonder where they bend them at.
And another building. I want to see where they do the gear.
That's the engine basket. So this part right here attaches to the front side of the airframe, and then the engine actually bolts into those 3 spots there. So the accessory gearbox probably comes back maybe about here. The rest of the engine is forward of that ring. Heavy duty structure. That little piece of steel absorbs 1,700 horsepower.
So now you kind of got the other end of the factory. It all comes together into a whole airplane. Pratt & Whitney, baby. Pratt & Whitney for the engine.
Yeah, the landing gear is just a big piece of spring steel, and they actually fabricate this here at Air Tractor. They machine the steel and bend it, I think, over another hangar, but that's the landing gear for the 802. It's a big piece of steel.
So here's part of that 1930s technology. One piece of steel does all your flexion, absorbs shock from landing, nothing to leak, nothing to go bad. Simple, good, clean, reliable.
Is this a 502 or a 602?
502
Oh,
SP.
okay, yeah, it's a nice airplane.
This is a little 502, the spray plane. This is the cockpit where the pilot sits. In front of where his feet are, this is where your tank sits. This is your hopper. This space right in here. And right up here, the firewall, and then your engine basket and the engine. Air Tractor 502.
So we've gone through the whole factory from the very beginning with all the raw steel and raw aluminum to the press brakes and the guys in the back that are actually making all the small parts that create these airframes. And we're here at the final assembly area, the 502.
That's right, raw parts in, finished planes out. Right here at Air Tractor in Oling, Texas.
Straight and Level is brought to you by Assent Aeronautics, the world's largest live aircraft auction house. Conklin & Decker, industry leader in aviation research, and Amstat, leading provider of researched market information on business aircraft transactions and ownership.
Woke up this morning with the sunrise in my eyes. Just like a new day, a breath of fresh air in my life. I don't know how, don't know why, but I'll be toasting all my life.
While in recent years, Air Tractor has gained notoriety for the Fireboss and other aerial firebombers, the roots of this company remain deeply steeped in the agricultural industry. Air Tractor has produced more agricultural aircraft than any other manufacturer in the world. Between now and 2050, global food demand is projected to double. New agricultural methods make it possible for farmers to maximize crop yields across a fewer number of acres, and aerial spray applications are often the fastest, safest, most efficient, and most economical way to treat crops when pests and disease threaten. Air Tractor spray planes are designed not only to spray synthetic chemicals, but also to support organic farming. These aircraft can spray natural pesticides and fungicides found in our native environments that are toxic to insects and pathogens that threaten our crops and global food supply.
It was always my dad's passion that his airplanes were workhorses. They're working airplanes. It's important. It's feeding the world, and it's growing cotton and fiber for clothing, and it's also helping with mosquitoes and other insects and helping to prevent those. So yeah, I mean, it is a very high calling or high purpose, and it's something that I think everybody at Air Tractor is very proud of.
Air Tractor currently produces 6 different agricultural spray planes, ranging in size from 400 gallons up to 800 gallons. These aircraft are purpose-built with safety at the forefront of design to support agricultural operations around the globe. By increasing the yield of food production per plot and reducing soil erosion damage, the Air Tractor agricultural spray plane assists in providing a safe and abundant food supply for the world's growing population.
Do people realize that your firm is helping feed the world?
I hope they do. You know, we spent some time thinking about that 10 years ago and what our purpose was and what our mission was. Why do we come to work every day here and build these airplanes? And we want to do our part to help feed and protect the world that we live in. These airplanes are operating globally. It's not just the U.S., it's South America, it's Australia, Canada, it's Europe, it's Southern Africa. It's a lot of places in this world.
Crops are constantly under threat, and the Air Tractor is the farmer's go-to resource, ensuring their hard work and the food they grow gets to you.
I know as a company, everybody has a lot of pride when they watch these aircraft that you start from bare pieces of metal and you turn out an aircraft like this, or like the 802 out there, or the 502s. On a personal level, what's your feeling when you see one of these aircraft going out, because you know it's a purpose-built aircraft that's going to feed people or it's going to save lives?
Every one of them feels like another child.
Yeah.
I want to know where they are, what they're doing, who's operating them. I want to know that they're well taken care of and operated in the right way to bring value to the farmers in this country and around the world, and to protect lives and property in the firefighting mission, and to protect folks in the few that we have in the military missions as well.
Yeah, it's an amazing legacy.
It truly is. We can't thank you enough for joining us today. It's an incredible business that you guys have built. You guys should be congratulated. Thank you so much for having us out.
Thank you very much
Really
as well.
appreciate it.
Enjoyed it. Enjoyed having you.
On the plains of Northwest Texas, there's an employee-owned business that is doing its best to help feed and protect the world. 286 employee owners have married legacy and tradition with technology that not even some of the largest aircraft manufacturers have in-house. All of this to build agricultural spray planes and single-engine firebombers. Every day, these employee owners work to leave the business of Air Tractor just a little bit stronger, to set the pace of innovation, and to fortify the legacy of the founder, Mr. Leland Snow, hand producing one aircraft at a time.
From his early age, he loved to build model airplanes. You know, the little paper and balsa wood, and he, would save up his money to buy these little airplanes. As soon as he was old enough to learn to fly, he got his pilot's license before his driver's license. All of those experiences made him who he was, but yeah, airplanes were always his passion.
Leland, our founder, he passed those traits on to us to give back to your community, to give back to your county, and help people. If we can help people, we'll all be better for it.
Asking $375, but I get $375. People run at $375. 400,000 just came in. $575 they did. Now 600. $650 currently top bid. Asking $675. 700 just came in. We have just sold the 2007 EC120B. Congrats to our buyers and sellers. Great work from our sales team. Got it moved on the auction block today. It is sold.
Straight and Level is brought to you by Assent Aeronautics, the world's largest live aircraft auction house. Jet Aviation, global FBO partner, Aero Brigham, technical representative and partner of Assent Aeronautics, global platform for buying and selling business and private aircraft.
I'm Halsey Smith, your host for Straight and Level. On behalf of David and Danny Brigham and all of our partners, thank you for watching. Until next time, blue skies.